Hey, what's going on, guys? My name's Anthony, or Big B Stats, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about Piggy Chapter 8. Now, Piggy Chapter 8 has not been revealed at all yet of what it's going to be. So what I'm going to be doing is giving you my predictions, theories, and thoughts on what I think Chapter 8 will be centered around, and I would love to hear your feedback on what you think Chapter 8 is also going to be themed around. Now, there will also be a lot of spoilers in this video because I will be going in depth looking at secrets throughout each chapter in Piggy on Roblox. So again, if you have not completed Piggy or if you have not seen the endings, I highly suggest you click away and finish those before coming and watching this, because this video will contain all the endings as I will be piecing the story together. Also, don't forget to leave a like on this video. It really shows your support for the channel, and feel free to subscribe for more content as well. And if you're interested in the Piggy series, I have a complete playlist I will link down below in the description, which you can check out. I warn you, it is quite scary, but hopefully you will enjoy it. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get this started. Grab some popcorn and let's get started with Chapter 1, the house. So Chapter 1, the house. And you say, well, this is the place that George Pig was last seen. What was that sound? So you hear kind of a creepy sound that happens in the house, and then you say, oh no, I've got to get out of here. So this is the setting for house 1, like Chapter 1. And you kind of start off in the house. And again, if you didn't notice, you kind of arrived in a cop car. Also pay attention to these boxes. Don't know if they play any particular, important aspect of the clues, but we'll see. There's also some really creepy paintings on the wall in the house in Chapter 1, but to be honest, I don't know if it was really intended to have the stories really connected. I think this was, kind of the pilot, like a good pilot version of Piggy at first, and then it kind of rolled into the story, which I love story things. Like, I love going into theories and ideas of what I think something will be, what I think something may be. So again, you start out with Chapter 1, the house. Not many secrets. Again, you only see just these creepy paintings on the wall, and you know that George is missing. Now, the real cool thing about this is that, again, the story is connected. Once you get past Chapter 1, you can clearly see it. But you do start out as a detective. A lot of people are thinking, I would love your feedback on this, if you're an actual detective, or does the narrative actually change a bit as you're going on? I have some really cool theories that will also kind of line up as well. So again, it's going to be quite interesting. So you pretty much escape the house, and that's it. You kind of leave Chapter 1 as a good feeling. You escape, not many clues at all. You're just happy to escape. Let's just say that. But George is still missing. So that brings us to the point of when Chapter 2 came out, which takes place in the actual station. So this is like you go back to the police station and then you say, hello, is anyone here at the station? So this is where it gets a little bit creepy. And attention, a monster is in the station. Get to the garage now. So this is where the story kind of goes in a little bit more depth. Now, again, it's kind of hard to tell a full story, and then you say, another monster? I need to get to the garage. So it's time to actually get out of this now. So I'm sure once you got to the house as, let's say, the detective, you didn't expect for there to be a monster there. There's also a note here. So this is like one of our very first clues, I would actually say, that we see. This is again in Chapter 2, the station, which is in the jail cell. So it says, it can't get me in here, can it? Am I safe from it? So this is the note you actually find in here. But then I start thinking, like, it makes me wonder, like, who is writing these notes? And that's always been like the big mystery here. Is like, when you first see this, it's like, okay, who has written this note? Is it, a prisoner, or a prisoner escaped, or you have no idea who actually written this note. So again, pay attention to the note. Of course, the handwriting is also the same in the notes, which makes it even more confirmation that it is who we think it is. Exactly. I'm not sure if they would actually change the handwriting on it, but yeah, we find that note in the cell actually. And there's also another note in the station as well. I was trying to think if there was another note in this office at all, but there isn't. And you do also see things like this, like missing, like George is missing. So you do see that around too. There's my cop car outside, trying to see if there's any other secrets around there. But yeah, this is where the story starts getting quite interesting. So now the monster is back at the station and looking for you. So it's up to you to try and survive and try to escape, and we don't really know anything else. So here's another note that says, I can only hope that the officer that went to find out where the location of George Pig is okay. So basically someone is writing that note saying that whoever, I'm assuming they're talking to you basically. So, they can only hope that the officer, you, that went to find out the location of George Pig is okay. So when you left here to actually go to the house to actually find like chapter 1, they're hoping that you were okay, just in case if you're wondering how that actually means. So they're actually worried to see if you're okay. So this is at the station. George is missing, and then you show up at the house, and then you actually try and look for George, and then you're coming back to the station. But you actually leave that now, and that's when Doggy is actually introduced to, which actually drives off, and you escape chapter 2, the station. So you get here, and you're out of gas. Chapter 3, the gallery. We're out of gas and completely surrounded. And take a look at the monsters there that you see. Looks like we'll have to go through the gallery. So you go off and you drive to the gallery now with Doggy. And as you can see, which we'll show you in a second, some of these monsters look familiar. So some of those monsters look familiar, which we know they look familiar because they actually come after us. But Doggy here looks completely normal. I mean, Doggy is perfectly fine. Doggy's fine in chapter 2 and also chapter 3. But we do see this note here that says missing George here. So pay close attention to this. Now, the funny thing is if you actually Google the height of George, it says George is 2'5", but the actual, I think, actor's quite tall. But anyway, there's George, 6'11", the eyes are red, age 4, always wears blue, and last seen Peppa's house. So yeah, it says if you have information, please contact 6666, which is also super evil numbers there. So there we have it. So in the gallery, you're trying to escape. You have to find these eggs, which I don't think the eggs really play too much into the role, but you leave chapter 3, the gallery, right there. There's no notes that I'm aware of in chapter 3, so you just leave there and you actually escape, which brings you to chapter 4, the forest. This is where things start getting a little bit scary. So 4 weeks pass. So 4 weeks later, I think those monsters, they were our friends, and Doggy is completely normal here. It's getting late. Maybe we should get some rest. Now, this is 4 weeks later. Keep that in mind. So as you're getting some rest, Doggy turns evil. So there's actually a potion that you hear, like a drink sound, and Doggy's actually evil during chapter 4. So this is where it's like, well, how is Doggy actually, and even as you're going around bumping into Doggy in this, you're like, what happened to Doggy, basically? And pay close attention to this. This is actually a bottle here on the ground, which, notice this is the first time we actually see this bottle in chapter 4 here. So pay close attention to this because we'll see this throughout the rest of the chapters as well. So you're pretty much struggling to get out of here. You have Doggy to worry about, and you also have Piggy to worry about. But if you do manage to escape, there is something that you see here, which is another little ending at the very end, which says, on the radio at least, of course, you escaped, and then you hear it. Hello, is anyone out there? So someone's radioing in on the radio. So very cool there, and that brings you to chapter 5, the school. So this is where Mr. P gets introduced. So my name is Mr. P, and I need you to rescue my friend from the school. And you're like, okay, looks like I'm going in. Now this is where, like, now that I'm thinking now, like, is Mr. P actually like the head, like, sheriff, and then you're just, part like a detective with him, like your partner? It says meet me in the sewers when you find her. So basically what you're doing now is you're in the school, and the friend that Mr. P is talking about is no other than, guess who? Not you, of course not, but it's actually Bunny. So you're going in here to look for Bunny and rescue Bunny, basically. So Bunny's here. This is the first time Bunny is introduced in the school, and there's also 2 notes in here as well. And right now, Bunny is perfectly normal. So the search for the survivors went bad. I'm now locked in this room with some crazy animals that can wait on the loose. So I'm locked in here with some crazy animals on the loose. So yeah, this is where I'm assuming Mr. P wrote these notes. So the teacher was fine when we got here to rescue her. What happened? So I feel like you're on a team, like you, Bunny, Mr. P, and yeah, you were kind of on a team here. But then again, Mr. P did in chapter 2 talk about the note, like the officer that went out. I hope they're okay. So they're not really talking about you, at least. Like it's not really directed towards you, but it could be you. You would think that, you know, he would actually know you. But yeah, so you're going back here to rescue Bunny, at least, which again, I thought these were pretty cool notes here and pretty creepy notes to also kind of pay attention to. So yeah, chapter 5 again takes place in the school, quite scary. And check this out, we found ourselves another bottle right here on the table, the same bottle that Doggy drank in chapter 4, which turned Doggy evil, I'm assuming. And this is the science here. So experiments, when you think about science, you also think about experiments, learning things. I don't think this skeleton piggy has much to do with anything at all, which I did hear it doesn't really have much to do with anything at all. So yeah, I won't dive into my theories of what I think of this skeleton piggy right here. Again, I don't think it has much to do with anything right now, at least. Who knows if something was going to come up. I was checking the board to see if anything here would also come up, or if there's something that, you know, maybe I noticed that really sticks out. Didn't really see anything there, but it could be that there maybe was. Maybe I'll double check it again. But yeah, also Nick, a friend of mine, also pointed out that the Z's here are all capitals. Only the Z's are capitals on that board. So something to kind of really think about. So your whole job in chapter 5 is to leave here and meet in the sewers. And Mr. P is now introduced right there. How you doing, Mr. P? So it looks like you two made it out. I don't feel too well. And that's me. Like, I'm saying that. Like, I don't feel too well. So my character doesn't feel well at all. And if you look at this, you escaped. We're in the hospital now. Hang in there, Big B Stats. We're going to help you. And look at this. This is Doggy. Doggy's perfectly normal, right? Wait, but Doggy was just evil in chapter 4. What's going on? That's what you're probably wondering. Well, there's a keynote here that's going to explain that. So you're finally up. Listen, it's not safe here, Bunny's telling you. And then you ask, how long was I out for? And hopefully they don't say 4 weeks. Mr. P is waiting for us on the roof. Let's hurry. So Mr. P seems to be like the leader of all this, kind of like the mastermind behind all this in a way. But there's a note right here, which Nick, thank you so much. The note says, subject has been hallucinating Officer Doggy. Doggy's been missing for weeks. So think about that. So when you just saw at the end of chapter 5, when you're being wheeled in the hospital and you see Doggy perfectly normal, you're hallucinating. And that means it's like Doggy's not actually there. So you're just seeing things in a way. So how kind of creepy is that? So just in case you didn't really notice that, it kind of goes by quite quick. And again, Bunny's perfectly fine there. Don't know if they really say at this point how long you were out for, but it seems that Bunny is completely fine right now. But we do know that 4-week span, it was like that 4 week and then a night. And then that's when Doggy turned evil or drank the potion. Not exactly sure. We'll get into more detail about the potion and what I think the potion actually will do. Also, note this graph chart, this graph chart here. I noticed this graph chart in the school and it went the other way. So in the school, it was going up, and now in the hospital, it's going down. So it seems like things are getting worse, if that even plays a role into this at all. But during chapter 6, the hospital, which we're in now, you have to actually find some potions, and then you have to, or I would say like antidote. You kind of get these, yeah, I guess potions in a way. I would call them potions. And you kind of have to put them in the thing, and then you can escape. But here's another note. It says the majority of the family volunteered to help with testing. The test will begin shortly. Hopefully it's going well. And here's also another note here. Mr. P has graciously donated much to help a research to the cure. He insists that we test it as soon as possible. And it says the tests have shown promising results so far. The youngest was absent during the test. Now, the only thing that kind of makes me question this is that they're also saying that insist is such a strong word. Like, Mr. P is insisting that they actually, you know, go through with this. So part of me is thinking that Mr. P could possibly be evil. And look at this. We also have some bottles here as well. And we recognize these bottles starting at chapter 4. So this from chapter 4, chapter 5, chapter 6, getting really, really close. And then again, I'm going to talk to you guys what I think chapter 8 will be about. Again, it's going to be a while before we get chapter 8 too. The creator actually tweeted out it's going to be a while. And you can also see these capsules around the map too. But at the end of chapter 6, you leave the hospital and you get to the rooftop. And Bunny says they left without us, or you say that actually. And it says, Bunny says, we need to find another way out. So now it's time to look for another way out. And then you say, I guess you're right. And then you kind of have this weird feeling. And again, now you don't know how much time has passed. And you say, Bunny, are you coming? And then Bunny says, yeah, coming. So Bunny is either starting to act weird here or something is going on. And then you see a note from Mr. P that says, I have to do this for our own good. Now that leads you to the Metro, chapter 7. We are almost out of here. I just need a little rest. So Bunny is tired. Bunny needs rest. And you say, don't worry, Bunny. We're getting out of here. So at this point, Bunny's tired. Bunny's not feeling good. Something is up, okay? Something's really up. So you also see some notes over here and says, she's really sick. I need to help her any way I can. So we're talking about Bunny. Bunny is sick, and this is from Mr. P. Mr. P wrote these notes right now. So Bunny is sick. It seems that Doggy was sick. And yeah, this is getting kind of crazy here. So patient 0 was given, if we can actually see this right now, patient 0 was given substance 128. Patient has been, see if we can zoom in on this. So patient has been restoring strength, but also displaying signs of aggression. So it's just a matter of trying to find out, given substance 128, like patient 0. We need to find out who patient 0 is. Maybe that'll be a new skin that we actually get, patient 0. So those are some 2 notes right there. And then you leave the subway, and then this is what happens right now. So as you're leaving the subway, Bunny, the train is working now. And it's almost like a, Bunny, let's go. Bunny, are you all right? So Bunny's not feeling good at all. And then Mr. P gave me a potion. I drank it. So is Mr. P given all of them potions? I didn't know it would soon turn me into ... You can still come with me. We can find him. So it's like, and then Bunny says, no, you need to go without me. Because I'm sure Bunny's gonna show signs of aggression, 100%. And says, go now, I'll hold these monsters off as long as I can. So I'm starting to think that there's an infection going on. So you say, well, goodbye, Bunny. And then Bunny says, good luck. So that's my theory as far as coming to an end, what I think chapter 8 would be about. What I would love to see chapter 8 be about would totally be like some type of laboratory, or you have to think like where the subway would actually take you. Like, I would say that the subway would take you to a city. I'm really feeling like I almost thought this one was going to be underground, and it was pretty close to thinking that this was going to be underground, but I would love for the chapter 8 to be in the city or some type of lab, or maybe even like a mall or something. That would also be kind of crazy too. Or it could be, kind of like let's say the train breaks down and kind of crashes, and then you're kind of like on some railroad track, kind of like deserted station. That would be also quite cool too. Or it kind of brings you again to the whole, I know this was the metro, but it brings you to like where all the trains actually are. I think that would be also quite cool. I mean, there's so much that can happen. There's so many, the story still, it's going in a direction, and there's so much I'm sure the creator has planned for this. I mean, the Minitoon has done such an incredible job on this story. It's just really, really good. But I would love to see chapter 8 reveal more. I personally think in chapter 8, Bunny is going to be evil. Why? Because Bunny has, the same signs. Maybe all the animals are infected and Mr. P's trying to find a cure, but the cure is kind of like speeding up the process or making things worse before they get better. Or Mr. P's evil and he's kind of, playing both sides of the fence, kind of like poisoning them, but saying he's there to help. Who knows? Or maybe they're, he's giving them the actual like infection. It's not really a cure. Maybe he's saying it's a cure. Maybe it's an infection. So who knows what's going to happen, but I definitely predict that Bunny is going to be evil at some point. Just how Doggy was. And again, they didn't tell you how much time actually passed, but you can see the pattern that Bunny is not feeling well. So I do think there's going to be an evil Bunny at some point. But I would love to hear your thoughts and predictions on the story, especially if you're into it like I am. Let me know down below in the comments. But if you did enjoy, remember to leave a like and share it. Also, feel free to subscribe for more, and if you're new to the channel. And thank you also as well, Nick and Coolboy and WW for helping with this video. It was super appreciated. I do appreciate you guys if you're watching this. But thank you all again, and I will see you in the next video.